2020. The year schools shut down, offices went remote, social distancing became gospel, and season 1 of The Walking Dead came to life. Oh, and Goldberg vs. Braun Strowman headlined WrestleMania for the Universal title. A controversial yet undoubtedly memorable era. From March 2020 to July 2021, WWE ran without crowds. The show lost their soul, gained a Thunderdome, times were dark, WrestleManias were darker, and WWE programming felt empty and soulless. But in the middle of that chaos, one man stepped up, a once uninterested veteran now kicking skulls again. The greatest heel of all time, a bald-headed psycho, a fan-favorite villain reborn, became the MVP of the pandemic era. This is the story of how Randy Orton went from legend killer to legend, back to legend killer to game changer.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
In January 2020 at the Royal Rumble, Edge came back. After 9 long years, he was back. Me and my buddy were on the infamous floor again, this time with tears in our eyes. He really came back. My childhood idol, the man who never lost his world title and did not get to retire on his terms, was finally back. What a time to be alive. The following night on Raw, Edge came out, cut a promo about how he got back for good after a triple fusion neck surgery, about how he wanted to face all these new guys, all the young blood. Literally, everyone was happy. Out came Randy Orton. He welcomed Edge back and proposed a rated RKO reunion. Okay, we might be getting a tag match as Edge's first feud. Alright, WWE is playing it safe, considering how the man got back from a neck injury after 9 long years. Nope. RKO out of nowhere. Oh, okay. Randy versus Edge as Edge's first feud. Okay, Randy Orton is one of the safest guys in the ring. I get that. I understand that. And he hit him with a fucking concerto. A concerto in the PG era. Look, we all know that wrestling is fake, right? But this was one of the few times where you were so involved in the story where you start to question if this is a work or not. Edge selling the concerto as a lifeless fish gasping for its final breath while Randy stared at his corpse? Edge was back, but so was the legend killer. The next week, Randy Orton hit us with the Dick Heel Move 101 by not speaking to us anymore, even though you spent 10 goddamn minutes to walk to the ring and 10 more to stare at everyone. Anyway, we thought this feud became really personal. After a 9 long year return of your former tag team partner, hitting him with a steel chair on his head while he's sleeping on another steel chair is the worst thing you could do to him, right? Right? And he proceeded to RKO his wife! What's next, Randy? Burning a man alive? Randy Orton RKO'd Edge's wife, Beth Phoenix, on live television, and the crowd cheered and chanted, RKO, RKO. Who's the real villain here? Orton claimed that the only reason he did what he did was because someone like Orton would eventually have done the same to Edge, and Edge wouldn't have been able to be a family man anymore. Orton had gone 09 levels of psycho. In the build-up, Matt Hardy came to ask Randy Orton why he did what he did to Edge, which frankly was hysterical. I'm not explaining this, so go Google it. Poor Matt Hardy's face ended up being sandwiched between 2 toasty chairs by Randall, i.e. he got concertoed again. So the match was set. Orton, Edge, last man standing at WrestleMania 36. What could possibly go wrong? A literal worldwide shutdown due to a pandemic. God of War warned us for this. When an angry, bald man goes on a ruthless killing spree, the world thus. At WrestleMania 36, Orton and Edge did have a decent encounter in my opinion. It was creative to say the least, but holy hell was it long. And it was long. The two men fought tooth and nail backstage in the Performance Center and in the gym, where Orton tried to kill Edge again. In the end, Edge applied a sleeper hold on to Orton, who passed out on a chair. The conflicted Edge then performed a concerto to Randy Orton. Edge won the match after Orton was unable to answer the referee's 10 count. The feud was not over. Randy Orton and Edge proceeded to have what will be called the greatest wrestling match of all time. Taker and Shawn would like to have a chat. But the match, unlike its silly-ass tagline, was amazing. It was WWE's first directed match in the ring. It was well put, well choreographed, and all in all, entertaining. To end the match, Randy Orton would pull out his Blades of Chaos, a move not seen since ages, a move that terrorized people in the late 2000s. He hit a man with neck issues with a punt kick. Orton won the match. Edge got legitimately hurt and tore his triceps to be out of action for the rest of the year. Something about big returns and torn triceps, eh? After this, 2009 Randy Orton wasn't just a memory anymore. He was back. He punt kicked Christian the next night on Raw after Christian challenged him to an unsanctioned match and got betrayed by Ric Flair. Lovely seeing Orton and Christian in a ring together, brings back really fond memories. Randy Orton then punt kicked the Big Show for giving him that awful Survivor Series 2013 match and being unable to decide if he's a heel or a fucking face. He then punted Ric Flair for hitting him in the nuts because Flair said that at this stage of his life, he's only Charlotte's dad and wants to be a part of Randy Orton's life. Both pretty valid reasons to kick an 80-year-old man in his skull. But last but not least, he punted Shawn Michaels for overshadowing his WrestleMania 25 main event by delivering the actual greatest wrestling match of all time. Edge was gone, the legends were gone, only one man was left standing, and he was heading for gold. After going on a terrifyingly brilliant run, Randy Orton set his sights towards gold, Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship. And now let's be honest, Drew McIntyre was the other MVP of 2020, carrying the company on his shoulders with no fans, no pyro, and no pop, just a kilt and sheer aura. Drew was killing it, still to this day by the way. And the match was set, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was during WWE's weird-ass let's give pay-per-views a tagline era. The tagline for SummerSlam? You'll never see it coming. Surely it's just a tagline with no real meaning, right? Orton spent the entire build kicking every single legend in the head. Christian, Big Show, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, all wiped out. Drew tried to be the locker room protector, the hero in a world falling apart. This was simple storytelling done right. You had a deranged killer and the one man standing between him and complete chaos. Claymore versus the punt kick. And then we got to the SummerSlam encounter. And let me just say now, that match was beautiful. Just clean, fluid wrestling all around. The whole build was a narrative between who's gonna hit their finisher, whose finisher is more deadly. And we got 0 finishers in that match. 0 finishers in a WWE title match at SummerSlam. That was unique. Drew McIntyre got the win by a backslide pin, which left me yelling at my screen, I want more! At first I hated it. I'm a massive Randy Orton fan. But now, I get it. It was perfect. You're expecting a war and you get a strategic trap. That's how you keep both guys strong. Oh, and SummerSlam also marked the debut of the Thunderdome. Everything was new. Virtual fans, LED boards, piped in chants. Okay, maybe that one wasn't new, but Orton still made it feel authentic. The next night on Raw, Randy Orton went mental. His urge to kick a man's head wasn't fulfilled, so he caught Drew near Gorilla and punt kicked his head straight to the moon. A rematch was obviously set, this time as an ambulance match. Randy Orton lost to Drew in a banger ambulance match, by the way. After all the Randy Orton 2020 old age home tour victims interfered, Shawn Michaels, Big Show, Flair, Christian, all the ghosts of Randy Orton's punt party came back to haunt him and cost him the match. Okay, so now you must be wondering, they got their revenge on Orton. The story is over. Apparently not. What did Randy Orton do next? The Legend Lounge Massacre. This man dressed up like a fucking janitor, put on night fucking vision goggles, snuck into a room called Legends fucking Lounge where all 4 men were sitting inside and beat the living out of everyone inside. Off-screen thuds, lights out, bodies flying, straight up modern warfare Randy Orton. First off, why would you put a big ass sign outside a room that says Legends inside with Randy Orton 2020 on the loose? It's like Christmas morning to the lad. This segment was everything. It was funny, it was goofy, it was dark, and most of all, it was entertaining, which is more than I can say for any other segment in WWE during that era, crowd or no crowd. With everything boiling over, we finally got the decider, the trilogy, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. And this was my moment. Randy wins clean, no tricks, no punts, just an RKO. And my GOAT was the 14-time world champion. No crowd, no pyro, just the sound of my heart pounding through the walls. As a fan, this was beautiful. Randy Orton earned that title win. After that, we were all hyped up for Randy Orton vs Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. And then WWE pulled an annual go-home show Survivor Series title change. Just 3 weeks later, Drew took the title right back. But honestly, I didn't even care. Because that Hell in a Cell win, that moment, that story, it was worth it. This wasn't just a rivalry, it was one of the most compatible pairings in WWE history. Drew McIntyre will go down as one of Randy Orton's best ever rivalries.
Talk to me, and they talk to me. They talk to me.
Just 3 weeks before he lost the WWE title, Randy Orton decided to start a feud with The Fiend and his new Harley Quinn, Alexa Bliss. At TLC 2020, The Fiend challenged Randy Orton to a Firefly Inferno match, and in true 2020 WWE fashion, Randy Orton set a man on fire. Like, actually, not figuratively. He literally fucking burned the man alive. This wasn't a metaphor. He made s'mores out of a top merchandise seller. And then The Fiend disappeared, and the real villain showed up, Alexa Bliss. Week after week, Alexa tormented Randy. With magic, black goo, spooky lights, demonic laughs, you name it, WWE threw it in. It was fairly weird, but hey, nothing that we haven't seen in WWE before. Then at Fastlane it got weirder. Alexa Bliss challenged Randy Orton to an intergender match, and Randy for some reason said, yeah sure, let's add Alexa to the kill list. And this match was a fever dream. Randy Orton fights Ghost, gets goo spewed on him, Alexa teleports, and just when you think you can't get weirder, Crispy Fiend returns. Like literal burnt marshmallow mask. It was weird but low-key entertaining. And then came WrestleMania 37. For the first time in over a year, fans were back. And WWE decided to open Night 2 with Randy Orton versus The Fiend. And let me just say, Randy Orton's entrance gear at WrestleMania 37, that's his best WrestleMania look to date. The Fiend came out too. Before he came out, there was a weird video package of Crispy Fiend walking and suddenly transforming into normal Fiend. He came out at WrestleMania in a giant circus toy box. Alexa followed him and rotated the lever for The Fiend to pop up real slow. The Fiend straight up cross-bodied Randy from the box to start that match. And then the match just died. No climax, no chaos, just Alexa turning on The Fiend for some reason, and black goo. Randy hits one RKO, gets the pin, and walks out of WrestleMania like nothing happened. It lasted under 5 minutes, months of build, crispy mask, fire, spooky dolls, all ending with just one RKO. Just when you thought Orton couldn't have been more of a dick in 2020. That night marked the end of Randy Orton's 2020 reign of terror. Shortly after this, he turned face and formed a tag team with Matt Riddle, and the crowd came back. No more serial killing, no more puns, no more janitor disguises or infernos. Just Randy Orton back in black trunks, smirking under the stadium lights filled with his aura. And there you have it. In a year where everything felt fake, forced, and lifeless, Randy Orton felt real. He made silence sound violent. He brought back fear, he brought back fire, and when the world stopped, he kept punting. This was more than just a character revival. This was a reminder of what happens when the legend killer has no leash. Randy Orton was the undeniable MVP of the pandemic era, and that's what made him a game changer.